It's MamaBorg's Fun Time Educational Hour! With me, your host, Mama Borg. Thanks, Tongy. I'm working with some low-tech equipment here, a clipboard, some paper, some tongs, but what do you expect from me, huh? Hello to all my students out there from Mama Borg. Currently talking to Johnson City High School students, but when I say my students, I mean all my students. Angel Gonzalez recently sent me a Facebook message that said, once you're my teacher, you're always my teacher, and likewise, once you're my student, you're always my student. So I'm talking to my former students at SIU, John A. Logan, SIC, former students at Sparta High School, Marion High School, Carbondale High School, and again, my current students at Johnson City High School. I am thinking about all of you and sending you good energy, and I hope you are all well, or at a minimum surviving this corona chaos, or as some of my students have been writing in their journals, coronication. So let's get to it, guys and gals. All right, it is episode 1 of Mama Borg's Fun Time Educational Hour. First off, thank you for the feedback. I got 88 views just on my screen test alone and 10 likes. I am on my way to becoming a media influencer. What? Yeah, I'm still just as awkward when I'm at home as I am in the classroom. Big shout out to Joe Corcini for teaching me this technology so that I can have the screenshots, which you see right there. Wait, oh, look how meta. You can see these screenshots right there. And you can see me right here at the same time. It's a whole new world. Yeah, I don't stop singing awkwardly when I'm at home alone either, so bear with me. Also, thank you to the feedback. Greg went from SIU. No, not going to let my hair down. Still wearing black. Definitely not going to change the lighting because then it's like, I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille. Awkward. Doing my best here with what I got. I did make a couple of changes though. I did take the blanket off of the edge of the bed, and I did move the camera so you didn't see the foil-covered antenna extenders on my router, which helps my Wi-Fi. Doing what I can with a 10-year-old gaming desktop and a couple of desk lamps. I always say I could teach in a cave with sticks and fire, so bring it, YouTube. So, what is happening with you guys and gals? You know, whenever I said I wanted spring break to last forever, I was totally joking. So, I saw this movie once with this character who was like, spring break forever, but like now we are on spring break forever, and it is nowhere near as fun and exciting and happy as we thought it would be. These are actually pretty unprecedented times. I remember originally thinking spring break was going to be extended. We might be out of school for a week, and now it's a lot longer than that. And so we're all trying to kind of make do and adapt as we go along. And I've been hearing back from some of you guys and gals in your journals so far, and we'll get to that in a second. Today, I just kind of want to address all my students at Johnson City High School and kind of talk about moving forward and what the expectations are for homework and whatnot. So here we've got, this is my course website. Most of you guys and gals know this already. You can go to mamaborg.wordpress.com, and then you can click either English 2 or dual credit. English 2, you'll see the jellyfish at the top. That's your page. If you don't see that image, you're on the wrong page. And then I will weekly be updating homework and homework expectations there. You'll see in this screenshot, I've got coronavirus quarantine weeks 4 through 6. Johnston City, I think, is giving out homework week by week, but we're about to engage in a novel unit we're going to do of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck, potentially, if that's what you're feeling. We're going to do this novel. This is what I've assigned for these weeks, and instead of doing it week by week, I just gave you the novel, the study guide, and a split quote assignment to do all at once. Don't be overwhelmed if you're panicked and you're like, I can't do that. I'm going to get to that in a hot minute. For dual credit English 102, you guys and gals also have a page here, and I've been communicating with almost all of you pretty regularly. There's about 5 or 7 of you I've really not heard from since about the 16th of March. Call me, or email me, or Facebook me something. I'm hoping you guys and gals are doing okay. But you guys and gals have homework here. We've also got homework on D2L, and I've been email communicating with a lot of you. So let me just kind of go full screen again because you need to see more of this. Hang on. Now, for English 2 and for dual credit students, everyone has probably been doing some kind of journal for the last couple of weeks, hopefully. And those journals, I've been journaling along with you guys and gals. What? I've been journaling for a really long time. Initially, I sent home an assignment that was to journal about the media that you were consuming, where were you getting your information from. Frighteningly or surprisingly, a lot of you are just getting your information from friends, which is like playing telephone. Always go to primary sources, people. Check the NIH, CDC. Johns Hopkins has a really good site. Try to go to primary sources versus just relying on memes. But you could journal about your media. More importantly, at this point, if you are journaling, I just want you to journal about what's going on right now. How are you processing through this experience? You could journal about what you're learning, how this has interrupted your learning, how this has heightened your learning. Some of you really, really like being able to work at your own pace, on your own time. Some of you have been describing difficulties with other classes, with Zoom class meetings or Google meetings, where everyone will talk at once and then people kind of get booted out of the chat, and how frustrating that is. Just kind of journal about and process through what's going on right now. That's option number one. And that's what most of you should have kind of been doing all along. Some of you might be like, I've not done that at all. That's okay. Just start doing that now. English 2 and dual credit students, everybody basically has two options right now. One is journal, okay? The other one is to do your assigned unit. And I would like to highlight how even in the virtual world, my board work is horrible. You know, that's the one thing I kind of failed in teacher school was my board work. And like, look, I ran out of space. I don't even have a whiteboard. Like, this is just a piece of paper. I could have done it again, but I'm keeping it real, people. Each class has an assigned unit right now. The sophomores are going to be getting Of Mice and Men, either this text or this text, which I have held together with binder clips because could somebody please start funding education in poor rural areas? I would really appreciate that. We're going to do Of Mice and Men for English 2. Dual credit, you guys and gals have an annotated bibliography with all of these delicious articles to read about how technology affects our brains and makes our friendships somewhat pseudo or faux, as it were. Some of you might not feel like reading an annotating article. Some of you say you are really distracted and having difficulty focusing right now, and that makes total and complete sense. The philosophy for almost all teachers out there right now is read something and write something. Hot minute. So this is from the sheet that I sent home if you picked up a hard copy packet from the high school. It just says, just read some and write some, you know, to keep your brains from solidifying up there in your skulls while you're away from me, okay? And that's ultimately the goal for any teacher out there. It's kind of like the Hippocratic Oath. We are here to do no harm. So if you can't get your homework in, if you're struggling with internet, if you can't email your homework home, if you can't get up to the high school to do your stuff, don't worry, you're not going to fail. Nothing terrible and drastic and bad is going to happen to your grade, okay? If you feel like it and are able, do one of those two options that I just mentioned in my lovely little notepad whiteboard here. Everybody's got two things they could be doing. Number one, two options. English 2 and dual credit, you could journal. And dual credit, you guys and gals have been doing the meta journal the whole time. Those of you that had 101, we did it in 101, you're doing it in 102. That should be old hat to you now. And that might be the easiest thing for you to do. The other option is the assigned unit, which is articles in the annotated bib for dual credit, Of Mice and Men for English 2. Pick one of those and do them. Be working on something so your brain doesn't just kind of turn to mush. You know, this time period in our lives is really unprecedented, and a lot of you have been writing in your journals a couple of things. One, your parents are annoying you tremendously. And 2, you guys and gals miss your friends. And 3, a lot of you actually miss school and being in class, which is why I'm trying to kind of come to you through the camera as much as possible. But these times have happened before. Let me show you someone. Hold on. This is my grandma. I call her G-Ma. This was Alice Ann Stahlheber. She's pretty, isn't she? That's her senior photo. And she was born in 1915. So she was only 3 whenever the Great Flu Epidemic of 1918 kind of went through. But she remembers parts of it, and she remembers her family telling her about it. They had to be quarantined. She remembers schools and churches and everything just kind of closing down. And so we will survive this. We will get through this. And one of the reasons that we're staying home is to make sure that our medical providers can stay safe and to keep other people from getting it. And so it is frustrating right now, but it will end. We will come through this, definitely. So depending on where you're at and what you're doing, journal or read a novel or read those articles, depending on which class you're in. Dual credit, I'll be talking to you specifically later about getting your college credit versus getting your high school credit and what you have to do for that. I'm still waiting to hear back from some folks at John A about that. But for now, I can't tell how long this video is, and I know your attention span is short. I wish I had another song to sing for you, but I just really don't. So I'm going to end this right now, and I just want to tell you 3 things. 1, no violence, only love. 2, be safe, make smart choices. And 3, I like you. Be safe, everybody.